What's happening, everybody? This is the Philly Experience Podcast alongside Chris Thacker, Tanner Martin, Tyre Hood. I'm your host, Max James. Great to be with you on this Thursday, July 11th. Following the 4th of July weekend, we hope you enjoyed your holiday, and we're happy to be back talking sports. Guys, it's been an interesting couple weeks for the 76ers. We re-signed Tobias Harris, signed Al Horford, re-signed Mike Scott, re-signed James Ennis. We signed and trade Jimmy Butler to Miami Heat for Josh Richardson. So a lot to talk about on the 76ers front. Also, the Philadelphia Phillies. Are we buyers or sellers at the deadline? Lots to discuss there. Jake Arrieta has some arm trouble. What are we looking forward to in the second half? We'll dive into that shortly. Also, some big-time free agency talk in the NBA. Paul George and Kawhi team up in L.A. DeMarcus Cousins goes to the Lakers. So we got some Lakers-Clippers drama headed over there. Also touch on some NFL. And shout out to the U.S. women's team for another World Cup.
Woo! What's going on, guys?
Oh man, I'm just glad nobody got in trouble.
It's been a long 2 weeks.
I'm able to look at y'all, and you guys are not behind bars.
Well, thank you.
I'm happy for that.
Well, thank you, T. That is thanks to my parents. They raised me.
Yeah.
Right, kind of.
I would hope
All
so.
right, guys, it's great to be back. It's great to be a 76ers fan right now. Let's talk about what the Sixers have done over the last couple weeks. All right, first, free agency starts, and I got to tell you, free agency has been crazy
It has.
this year. I mean, guys are going different places, and not just like middle tier players. We're talking big time names. Kawhi obviously goes to the Clippers, who was probably the last big domino to fall off the board. But from a 76er standpoint, what do you guys make of the moves that we've completed over the last couple weeks? Do you like it? Is there anything you wish we should have done better or could have done better?
All right, so first it started off really terrible because we lost J.J. Redick and Jimmy Butler, and then things started to get better.
No!
When we re-signed Tobias back, and then it was kind of out of nowhere. We kind of got Al Horford. I wasn't expecting it, but we got him, and then the whole trade with Jimmy Butler was finished. We got Josh Richardson. This was a 4-team trade?
Gosh.
Yeah,
I believe it was a 3-team or 4-team trade.
It was 4. The Blazers got Hassan Whiteside, and the Clippers got a future first-round pick and Harkless, and we got Richardson, and the Heat got Butler.
On the Horford thing, I was hearing the rumors that Horford was going to sign with us. It was us. I believe it was a couple other teams, the Lakers, and I believe there was another team that was interested in Al Horford. And I honestly thought it was still like a stretch for us to get Al Horford. But then when we signed him, I'm saying to myself, oh, man, that's cool. Okay, the Sixers got Al Horford. You get that stretch forward in there that can really, stretch the field a little bit. That allows Ben Simmons with his, well, for lack of a better term, jump shot, still developing. It allows him to create a more open driving lane for him. And it also opens up Embiid in the post because now you can't double team Joel Embiid in the post because then otherwise he's going to be able to kick it out to some shooters on the perimeter, and that's exactly what we want. Now, the Tobias Harris re-signing, I'm excited about that. He got paid a little bit more than I honestly thought he would have. I think that contract is whoa, but hey, I'm happy he's back. I'm excited for this upcoming season, and from what I've seen in the summer leagues, man, those young bucks are really tearing it up.
Just some stats that I came across. How Al Horford made 73 threes in 2018-19 with 203 attempts. And Jimmy Butler made 67 threes in 2018-19 with 193. I thought that was pretty surprising. So people were scared that we were losing the player in Jimmy Butler and the threes that he could make. But
I did mean to ask you that if you're worried about losing the production that Jimmy Butler provided towards the end of the season into the playoffs. But do you think I was going to ask if you thought Al Horford and maybe Matthias Thybulle could maybe make up for that?
The only thing I would miss from Jimmy Butler is the closing ability. Not necessarily the production, but the closing ability. Those couple of games where he would hit the game-winning shot. I still don't think we have a definite close game closer on the squad. But that's really the only thing I'm really going to miss. I mean, and then, honestly, okay, I wanted Jimmy Butler back for the Sixers. I honestly did. But then when they came out that he really wasn't interested in the team and he wanted to go to a place where somebody was going to build a team around him. Oh, okay, cool. See ya.
And that's the frustration behind Ben Simmons, I feel like, because I feel like he has the potential to be that closer for us, which is why we all sit around here talking about why it's so frustrating he can't shoot from beyond 7 feet. And hopefully he can take big steps this summer.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, when you look at this on paper, we have talented players, right? I mean, we look at it, we got talented names on this list that I have in front of me right here. It's just the fit is what, I'm scratching my head about. I know Al Horford and Embiid playing together. There's some question marks there. I know.
How so?
I just feel like the fit for Al Horford and Joel Embiid, like Al Horford's been, especially in Boston, usually he's been their center, and Embiid has too. The thing I like about it, on the other hand, is they're able to split time, on and off the court. We'll have a dominant player, in the low post at multiple times, and they won't be on the court together, all the time, obviously.
Well, yeah, and I think the worry is, knock on wood, because of how concerned they are with Joel Embiid's health. That's a great guy you can put in there if you don't have him.
Yeah, the people are saying that. I know James Ennis made the comment yesterday, we're going to walk to the finals.
No,
but
no, that ain't happening.
Right now, I look at it and we have one star on this team, and it's Joel Embiid. If Joel Embiid doesn't, I should say, if he can stay healthy, it would be a better term. Stay healthy, and even in the playoffs last year with the whole injury bug or the stomach bug, and the load management, they didn't really give him.
Chick-fil-A.
Look at Kawhi Leonard last year. He was managed well. He didn't play in second night of the back-to-back. They need to do that with Joel Embiid this year, and I think if Joel Embiid could take, where he's at now, take even a bigger step next year and really become that dominant force and that consistent force that we know he hopefully can be, then I think you got to look at this team as a finals contender. The only thing is, all those guys out west are just, you look at them and you're like, man, we can't stack up with that team, don't you think? I mean, geez, they got especially the Clippers, the Lakers with that starting five. They had DeMarcus Cousins. They already had Kyle Kuzma. I mean, you just look at it and you're like, as long as we can get there, we give ourselves a chance. But on paper, you're like, man, it's going to be really hard to beat those teams.
Yeah, but the Lakers lineup, that's cute. Right. That's a cute little lineup they got, for lack of a better term. But
star power hurts you, man. They got stars over there: LeBron James, Anthony Davis. We got good players. We got nice, solid players. Al Horford, not a star, but a very good player. Tobias Harris, he's getting paid like a star, but he's not a star player. He's a very good player. And Ben Simmons, can he take that next step? We don't know. So there's a lot of question marks.
You are correct that the Lakers have star talent, but that's the thing: can that star talent come together and effectively as a cohesive unit? Can they come together? That's the question. You can get all the stars in the world and bring them together on one team. It does not matter how talented they are unless they know how to work together within an offense and put their egos to the side. Yes, the Lakers are full of superstars, but can they, as a cohesive unit, bond together and work together? That is going to be the ultimate question.
One thing I will say about Elton Brand in this whole free agency process is the guys he brought in were pretty solid players as far as locker room guys. I love having Al Horford in the locker room. He's always been a solid locker room guy.
Agreed.
Jimmy Butler, even though we love his Philly attitude that he had while he was here, obviously wasn't the best locker room presence.
I don't like him anymore. As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't exist.
No! Because he didn't want to be here?
Broke our heart. But now,
when we look, go ahead.
No. When he's coming to Wells Fargo, as far as I'm concerned, we can boo him out of the stadium, and that's going to happen.
I'm sure
that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I was really surprised because I thought when we were sitting on this show 2 weeks ago here in these seats, we wanted Jimmy Butler back. We thought that was the number one priority. Now we sit here, we look at it, and we're like, we're still in a good shape, right? We made some good, solid moves. I just want to point out around the rest of the East, obviously Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving go to the Nets, but KD's going to be out this upcoming season, so the Nets shouldn't be too big of a, they shouldn't be too big of a threat to us.
And that's why the Sixers need to be aggressive and jump on this year now before Kevin Durant gets healthy and comes back to contribute to the Brooklyn Nets. Because right now, the only person that the Brooklyn Nets have is Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan. Okay.
Right.
Kyrie, we can take on our own.
Right, we definitely have more talent.
Okay. He's not an offensive threat. So if there's a year the Sixers need to take advantage of the East, it's now.
Definitely. Kawhi leaves Toronto. He's gone. Kemba Walker goes to the Boston Celtics, but they lose Al Horford and they lose Kyrie Irving up there in Boston. So I 100% agree with you. This is the year. The only team you probably look at, they got a shot to beat us, is the Milwaukee Bucks as of right now. Re-signed Chris, but the only person they really lost was Malcolm Brogdon, who, again, very solid player. But they do re-sign Chris Middleton. They brought back Brooke Lopez. They had already had Eric Bledsoe there. They brought back George Hill. I mean, they kind of had that same unit they did last year, and they had the best record, 60 wins last year. So they're going to be a tough team to beat in the East. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. It's been a great free agency period. Kelly Oubre just signed yesterday, so it's not over yet. I mean, still little players going off the board here, so it's going to be fun to watch. I just want to point out real quick, this whole free agent period was just, to me, I listened to Adam Silver the other day. He said they need to do something to change it. The big names are going to either New York or LA. Would you guys like to see it switch up a little bit and be more spread? Because I understand Russell Westbrook could leave. He can go to another major market city. Do you like having these big powers out east and west, or would you like to see them more spread out?
See, I grew up in an era watching basketball where just about every team had a superstar. So just about every team had the ability to go far into the playoffs and go to the championship. Like I grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s era. So, seeing Jordan on the Bulls before Pimpin and Rodman came along, Alonzo Mourning, David Robinson before Tim Duncan. I'm used to seeing those type of teams. So seeing these big, huge, superstar-built teams, yes, it irritates my soul. It really does. Like, it really bothers me because the rest of how do you expect the rest of the franchises in the NBA to compete with that? And then on top of that, you have kids coming in from college who are 18, 19 years old who still haven't fully grown into their bodies and who really haven't really developed their game yet. So how in the world are these teams supposed to compete with these superstars? And then let's say they do draft a kid that has all the potential in the world and the kid lives up to the potential. Now the kid's looking at an LA or New York. And
it's almost like every good player wants to go to either LA or New York. And it's almost like the players are running the league almost.
I feel like it's always been that way. With most sports, it's like, I want to go to the best city that will give me the most money.
When you become that star force, you know what I mean? Like, for example, when I was just bringing up earlier, Al Horford and Tobias Harris, not star players, but very good. They're in Philadelphia. Yeah. Guys like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George gets traded out of Indiana, gets traded out of Oklahoma City. He goes where, he forces the hand. Anthony Davis leaves New Orleans. He forces the hand of the GM. So the GMs are the ones that are supposed to say, listen, we're paying you millions of dollars to play for our team. We drafted you in the case of Anthony Davis. And the players have the upper hand here. They're just basically forcing the GMs to send them wherever they want. Or they threaten to leave in free agency. And
the only incentive that the players have, that the owners have is, okay, we can pay you more than the next team. That's really the only incentive. But for real, endorsement deals pay just as much, if not more, than NBA contracts. So that's not really enticing.
Yeah, it's true. And not every player gets those endorsement contracts, which is probably part of the reason why, we see, obviously, you look at LeBron James has all the endorsement deals, the major guys who go out to these major cities. And we look here and we're like, man, Jimmy Butler, you look at him, he's a B+, in my opinion, he's a B+ player, right? He goes to Miami. They're not going to win anything down there. No. And he made a comment that he said they got a shot to win his first year down there and go to the finals.
It's ridiculous.
So I'm sitting here like, not that I kind of care because, we rooted for Jimmy Butler really hard. He kind of grew up. We thought he was part of this city. We thought with his attitude and, how he acted.
Yeah, well.
Now that he's gone, I'm only bringing it up because we sat here and we talked about how much we wanted him to come back, right? We needed him back because he was going to be the starter. And now that he's gone, the thing about this Sixers team right now is it's one of those things where I need to see it happen. I can't make any predictions. Right. I need to see this team play together because I don't really know how the fit's going to be. So
agreed.
As far as Jimmy Butler goes, if you don't want to be here, then we don't want you here. And that's pretty much in every sports team. That's how they want to go with. But for the whole Kawhi thing and how you were saying players kind of control this league, I definitely agree with that. Kawhi pulled off some sort of heist, really. So we were all on our toes waiting to see where Kawhi signed.
We were.
And then we got the notification that Kawhi signed with the Clippers. Not only did Kawhi Leonard, the Finals MVP, MVP sign with the Clippers, he also brought in Paul George.
By the way, real quick, shout out to Tanner, because he's the only one up 2 o'clock in the morning taking track of that stuff. Seriously.
I was waiting. I knew it was going to happen. I was just waiting for it. But, I mean, he fooled the Lakers. He actually had a meeting with the Lakers in the beginning of the day, and then right after that meeting, he went and met with Paul George. How do you think the Lakers feel about that? I mean, that's if the Lakers add Kawhi Leonard, what do you think that does for the rest of the league?
Well,
then you have
it's a different ball game because then they have 4 guys that are just dominant. Kyle Kuzma. I'm not going to throw him in the dominant category yet, but man, he's a damn good player.
I probably wouldn't have watched the upcoming season if that would happen.
The only problem with that is they would have 4 guys, and who else would they have? Is the question, because they wouldn't have any money.
That's still the problem with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we talk about their team and how they're built. Okay, they're talking about putting LeBron at the 1, and then on top of that, you're going to have Kyle Kuzma, DeMarcus Cousins, and I'm missing a player.
Kyle Kuzma, DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis.
That's who I'm missing. You're gonna have Anthony Davis. You're gonna have those guys out there. That's a loaded front court.
Yeah.
Okay, so first off, how's that gonna work out?
Right.
Are you gonna put Kyle Kuzma on the bench?
Right.
Like now we have issues with that, and then on top of that, they still need a bench. Like, okay, these players are gonna get tired. Who is behind them? I'm not scared of Rondo.
To wrap up my point earlier about the whole endorsement deal and the star players. Kawhi Leonard basically he goes to LA, right? He's going to go to the Clippers, but he says I'm not going there alone. He brings Paul George with him, and if he couldn't bring Paul George with him, he would have went somewhere else, either the Lakers, back to Toronto, basically, because it's a star-driven league now.
It is.
Stars want to play with other stars. Kyrie, I think I heard a rumor Kawhi contacted Kyrie Irving before he joined the Nets, and tried to get him to come out and play with him out there. So it's a star-driven league, and I just am happy that we're in the East because, man, the West is just stacked.
Yeah, I agree.
It's sort of like a battle of the duo because we got Embiid and Simmons. I mean, the Mavs have Luka and Porzingis, which is, I think they're going to be big. They're going to be big. And the Rockets have Chris Paul, James Harden, obviously Anthony Davis, LeBron for the Lakers. And all these teams have at least those 2 big guys. So I kind of feel like now this season the NBA is more evenly matched. Except for, of course, the Warriors. They always have the upper hand, and maybe the Lakers this season.
You can't even say that about the Warriors this year, because really they're only going to have one player, and that's Steph Curry.
Well, they have Steph and they have D'Lo right now.
For now, but they're talking about trading him.
Yeah.
Which I don't think makes a whole lot of sense. I would try to keep him for at least a year, at least until Klay comes back.
The thing is, with that whole idea, I agree with you too. With Klay coming back, then somebody has to play the 3. Not that Klay can't because of his size, but he's more of a shooting guard. He's been that his whole career.
Right.
But man, I tell you, the West, that Denver, don't sleep on Denver. Portland is a very good team. Utah got a lot better. Not that they can stack up to the Clippers or the Lakers or teams like that, but I think it's going to be pretty competitive Western Conference. The Eastern Conference might be a little boring, to be honest, but hell, as long as we're winning games, that's all that matters.
Vegas has the odds to win the 2019-20 East Finals as the Bucks first, Sixers, then the Celtics, the Nets, the Pacers, then the Heat, then the Raptors.
What are those odds? Numbers on those odds?
They're just the Bucks have 5-4, Sixers 2-1, and then
I would take those odds.
Celtics 8-1.
Yeah, I would take those odds.
Yeah, listen, the Pacers were a team in free agency that stood out to me, getting Malcolm Brogdon. They signed some guys, and they're going to get Victor Oladipo back. They're going to be a good team next year. They're definitely going to be a playoff team if they can stay healthy. Victor Oladipo really hurt them last year going down. Yeah. But they can compete in the Eastern Conference with us and the Bucks, barring injury. Like, they need to stay healthy. Some teams just need to stay healthy. The Bucks, they're pretty deep, but they lose a guy here and there. They can kind of stay up top with the cream of the crop in the East. But if the Pacers were to lose like a key guy again, I don't know if they'd be able to compete up there. But they do have a pretty solid team. They should be a top 4 seed, maybe even a top 3 seed, depending on how the Celtics play this year. I know they got Kimba, but they're another team I'm looking at. The Celtics are one of the teams that they're always producing, right? They're always making the playoffs. So I'm anxious to see how they can bounce back after losing two key players this offseason.
Right. I think they're still going to bounce back. Because, like you said, they're the Celtics, and somehow, some way, Danny Ainge is always able to bring forth a squad that's always competitive and that's always fighting. So they're going to be competitive. They're still going to be a pain in the rear end for us this year. But I don't think they're going to be as much of a pain in the rear end as they have been in previous years.
Let's hope not. All right, let's transition here. Some Phillies talk. 47-43 overall record. We come out of the All-Star break tomorrow. You know, we've had 2 weeks of baseball games here, guys. And I got to tell you, it hasn't gotten much better. You know, the bats are still... JT Realmuto, to point out, he's been stepping it up. He looks like he's finally becoming looking like he's could bounce up to that 300 hitter that we all hoped he would in the beginning of the season.
The only person that went to the All-Star game out of the Phillies.
Listen, and we were also disrespected, too, because they didn't even order any Phillies batting helmets. So JT had to wear a Milwaukee Brewers helmet and also a Reds helmet. He had to paste a P on it.
Oh, no!
Ugh.
So, basically, Chris, I want to start with you here.
Me.
I've written a lot of articles about, are we buyers, are we sellers, are we both, which is a thing that could possibly happen. I heard one example where Cesar can get traded. We can get a bullpen arm or we can get a starter. Obviously, it wouldn't be a high-end starter or reliever, but it would be something to help us out. And then we could just, move Scott Kingery back to his natural position. So, with you, what do you think? Are we buyers at this deadline? I don't want to give up too much, right? We don't really have a lot in the farm system. I don't want to spend too much.
What's the problem now?
They're in a very peculiar position because they're a half game behind Washington for the wild card spot.
Yeah, we have the second wild card right now.
So we're like right there. So if things are trending the way they keep trending, like Washington is 8-2 in their past 10 games, and we're 5-5. I mean, we're 5-5, which is better than 3-4 weeks ago. But that's a tough position. And when it comes to buying, I mean, yeah, it's pitching. I'm much more concerned about the pitching than the batting. The
bats look like they're waking up a little bit.
The bats have been inconsistent this year. The pitching has been way more inconsistent. And Cesar he's not really a guy I want to get rid of, but if we get a nice bullpen arm or even a starter that we can have, like you keep pointing out, long term. I don't want just a guy. I don't just want a rental.
Correct.
I want a guy who's going to stick around. If it's going to cost Cesar, I'm open to it.
Yeah, listen, we're forgetting. Well, not that we're forgetting, but we may not remember a lot about Andrew McCutchen. He's going to be a key piece to this. He's been out for a while, so he might slip our mind. We're not really thinking about him, but
Andrew McCutchen.
We're thinking. Hopefully he can bounce back and stay healthy next season. He's going to be into his age 33 season. But we're hoping when we signed him to that 3-year, $50 million contract, we wanted him to be a part of this run that we're on here. I'd say, honestly, I don't know if you can trade Jay Bruce the way he's producing for you out in left field. But even if I don't know if his contract's expiring, we can bring him back maybe as a bat off the bench. But
I could check.
But again, I want to look at this and say, we're right there. We're right in the that second wild card area. The Brewers are right there.
Middle field.
The Rockies are on our tails. I mean, even the Reds are only like 4 back of a wild card. That's how pretty crazy the NL has been. So, T, would you go starter? Not giving up too much. Maybe like a number 4 guy just to give us somebody in that rotation because Arrieta's been hurt, right? We lost. He's gonna try to fight through it.
Yeah,
with that bone spur.
I don't think that's too much of a good idea because I think that the only thing that's going to do is just going to cause more damage. And then on top of that, Arrieta hasn't been pitching that well this year anyway.
Right.
So to be honest with you, I would have just sat him down for the rest of the year. Just me personally. But I'm just a fan.
Here's the frustrating point. Here's the frustrating point I want to bring out real quick. Zach Eflin, Aaron Nola, and Nick Pivetta basically are the 3 guys we have in this rotation right now. Jake Arrieta, hurt and banged up. Velasquez, I'm not even going to mention his name anymore because we don't have a 5th guy. I mean, he's out there because we don't have another option. He's our best chance. And we don't have anybody in the minor league system. That's why I think Robbie Ray would be a good name for us to go after, maybe.
It's ridiculous.
You got something there, Chris?
I was going to bring up, I think getting a starter is much more crucial because like you said in a past show, when this bullpen gets healthy, I think it will be fine. I know you don't believe in a number of the guys like Hector. Hector's been our best bullpen guy.
David Robertson, we're still saying. He's progressing, though. I'm hearing rumors he's progressing. He's going to throw off a mound soon, hopefully, or unless he already did it. I mean, over the All-Star break.
And then as for the Jay Bruce contract, just to let you know, he's signed through 2020. So
we got him for another year after
yes,
this.
we do.
So hopefully we can get McCutchen healthy and plug him back in left field and then have that bench piece, which Jay Bruce was supposed to be before the McCutchen injury, and plug him in as the big bat off the bench. So
Yep.
I just really think that we need a starting pitcher, and it's not because I definitely want to make a run in this second half of the season, but I'm looking ahead in the future. I mean, who do we have for next year's rotation? I mean, unless we go out and sign somebody in free agency after the season's over, but we don't have another option. We don't have good minor league talent coming up. We already saw what Cole Irvin gives us,
And that's the whole thing. Like, see, this is why, honestly, I want us to be buyers. I honestly want us to be buyers because I do think we are maybe one pitcher away, one consistent, half decent pitcher away.
Well, now 2, but
Well, yeah, now 2 decent pitchers away, but let's not get greedy here. If we can at least get one decent pitcher up in this rotation, just one, then maybe we have a fighting chance. Maybe we can at least be a consistent wild card team. At the very minimum, this team, this batting lineup is too talented for them to be struggling the way they've been struggling.
I just feel like everybody right now in the rotation is kind of up one spot where they should be, right? I mean, we have Eflin. I really view him as more of a 3. Right now, he's kind of pitching as that number 2. We thought Arrieta was going to be that number 2, but he really hasn't turned out. He's even had a worse second season than his first season in the Phillies uniform. So, and Pivetta, too. Pivetta, I really want him kind of obviously lower in the rotation spot. And this is me just going in order here. I'm going from best to worst. But if we can get somebody, like you're saying, if we can get somebody at that higher end, obviously it's going to cost us something. Every good pitcher does. But I'm not talking like a superstar ace.
No.
I just want somebody to ride up there with Aaron Nola.
Right.
Somebody who can go have a nice 1-2 punch, have Eflin 3, which would be a solid 3, Pivetta 4, and then Arrieta, if he can, ever figure something out with his arm, he could be down there at 4 or 5 with Pivetta.
I know usually the village idiot Chris would bring something like this up, but I don't know. Because at this point, let's just try anything. Let's just bring back Aaron Altera and tell him to pitch. All right? Something.
He did great.
Just something.
He did great.
Oh, Max, I also want to touch on, and Chris, what you guys were saying about Jay Bruce and how he has, what's he have, 1.5 more seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're only paying him $2.75 million, and the Mets still have to pay him 1.5, and Seattle's paying him off. So we're getting Jay Bruce for a cheap price, and the Mets are basically paying Jay Bruce to hit home runs against them and everything. And
That's great.
so, I mean, with this contract, it kind of helps us out next season. We have a little bit more money because Seattle and New York, they're paying off his contract. So that'll help next season with money-wise.
Yeah, we just need these bats to really pick it up. Harper is batting .252. I'd just like to see that average creep up a little bit. I know he's getting on base, but listen, this is the second half of the season here. There's no time for getting on base here and there. We really need these guys in our lineup to start crushing the baseball. Harper needs to start slugging at a higher percentage, hitting in Citizens Bank Park. I really think this upcoming couple series here, we got the Nationals for 3 at home, right? And we got to face some big-time names. We got to face Max Scherzer. We have to face Patrick Corbin. We have to face Steven Strasburg. And then guess who comes in right after them? The Dodgers for 4 games.
Yep.
So it's this could really be the season right here, especially approaching the deadline. If we get bashed around here a little bit by these teams, we could be sellers. And that quickly we could be sitting on the show next week saying, hey, listen, we just got beat by the Nats. We just got beat by the Dodgers. So,
as a former Flyers coach once said,
Enough is enough. Start playing with some jam in here. Let's go.
yeah, just step up, please, players. Listen, this is the season right here, like Max was pointing out. So
you got to play your best baseball against the best teams if you want to make the playoffs.
This team cannot play 7 games. They cannot play a series against a team like the Dodgers.
No.
Well, we saw how that worked out earlier in the season out in LA, and it was not too good. But listen, we all Phillies fans here, ride or die. I'm thinking, we sit here every week and we're like inconsistent. I'm just riding with him, man. I'm gonna tune into every game. I'm gonna root for him hard. If it doesn't go the right way, then we still have the talent for next season. I mean, it's not like we're losing guys, right?
I'm gonna tune in, and I'm still gonna support the squad. I'm gonna ride this ship until it sinks.
It's been a fun season. I mean, I've watched a lot of Phillies games this season. It's been a fun year, and we haven't lived up to expectations as what we thought we would have in the beginning of the season. But I just hope by the time next week we get some W's this up. Let's show these guys that listen, we're a playoff team. We can be that wild card. I know the Braves are playing out of their minds, leading up into the break. You never know how they're going to be with that layoff. Maybe they struggle a bit. I question that because their lineup is so stacked, but you never know in baseball. Baseball is a different game. You play every day. You're not playing once a week like football.
Yep.
People go through struggles. Hopefully we can bounce it back. Tanner, you got some football stuff?
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about how exciting the NBA offseason is, and we kind of forgot really what happened during the NFL off season. And there was a few head scratching moments. What do you guys think thus far? We have the Jets firing their GM 2 weeks after the draft. The Giants let Landon Collins walk. The Steelers sell low on AB, and the Giants pick Daniel Jones 6th overall. What do you guys think was the most head-scratching moment, or if you have one of your own?
Man,
Daniel Jones.
Man,
That's my favorite video.
That's a hard one, man, because I'm not a Giants fan at all, but I hate that Daniel Jones pick. But I don't care. The AB thing, he ran his mouth too much. What were the other two that you mentioned?
The Giants let Landon Collins walk. The Redskins made him the highest paid safety, which he's not. He shouldn't be the highest paid safety, but he is a 3-time Pro Bowler.
He's
and he's just 25 years old.
Yeah, but he's an in-the-box safety.
If we're talking about most outrageous, it's the Daniel Jones thing.
I gotta go with that
I
Daniel
agree.
Jones pick.
But the Steelers did get a 3rd and 4th round pick for a 4-time All-Pro 2018 touchdown.
And people say they sold
Yeah,
low.
but it's going to be because why do I want to pay that much for that big of a
for
problem?
locker room
That's
problem.
it, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that's
Max, do you have any?
I just think the Le'Veon Bell whole situation was head scratching to me because he left. I know he wants to stay healthy. The whole Steelers situation last year didn't work out for him. Lots of back and forth between him and the GM and all and the coach. But he left so much money on the table last year. I know he got it back this year, but man, he why didn't you just play last year? I mean, I get the fact that he didn't have the contract that he wanted, but the contract that the franchise tag that had to be over $20 million that he left sitting there on the table.
Because the thing about it is, he didn't want to be in Pittsburgh anymore. Now, I don't know what in the world was going on in the locker room.
To go to the Jets with lose how many games per year? 11, 12 games a year?
Hey, look, he was chasing after the paper. He felt disrespected in some way, shape, or form. That's his decision. I mean, he was still going to be on a pretty competitive squad with the Steelers, and they most likely would have still made the playoffs.
I relate this whole thing back to the Jimmy Butler thing. You want to go to Miami and lose, maybe be sneaking as the 8 seed, and Le'Veon Bell wants to go to the Jets of all the teams and play with Sam. Not that Sam Darnold's he can't be great in the future. I mean, he's a high draft. Was he drafted number 1 overall, or was he was up there?
No, Baker was the first overall pick.
Drafted top 5?
He was drafted top 5.
Okay,
definitely.
so top 5 pick, and I sit here and scratch my head at his moves or his decision, I should say, and I don't know. Right. The Jets are just one of those teams, man, that I don't know. They're like the Knicks. They're just not going anywhere.
Some players, it's the environment that sells them the most. Like New York, obviously, is New York. And then for a player like basketball-wise, Jimmy Butler, Miami, I mean, he got what? He got less money than the Sixers would have given him, right?
Yeah.
And he declined us, and then he went to somewhere where there's beaches, parties. I mean, he can walk the outdoors as much as he can because the weather is great there.
I know it did. I know that did upset you, Tanner, but I think long term it might be.
Hey, like I said, if you didn't want to be here, then I don't care.
Yeah, Tanner was broken for the first couple days.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember in the group chat, T was like, "We got Al Horford," and you were just like, "Yeah."
Personally, I'm not a big Al Horford fan, but if he proves something, I'll be open to.
That's one of the things I wanted to point out. It was kind of like we saw these names go, and we were like, "Oh, okay." We weren't freaking out excited because these guys are good. We didn't hate a star, right? We got a couple of good, solid players. Josh Richardson, another name that we haven't mentioned a lot today. Josh Richardson's a good two-way player. He's young, good talent. He can shoot it a little bit. But we didn't get that man. We didn't get that popping name. We didn't get that Kawhi. Not that saying we were the front runners for him, but we didn't get that big time name.
Right. And I'm not going to say Philadelphia isn't like a prime destination. We're top 5. Philadelphia's a top 5 market, across all sports, across all media. So I'm not going to say that Philadelphia can attract names, but compared to LA, compared to New York, we still don't stack up.
Right.
Philadelphia still doesn't stack up.
I wanted to ask you guys about Lane Johnson's comments from 2 days ago, talking about how Carson Wentz is in a different state of mind for this upcoming season.
I'm in a different state of mind every day. I don't know. I don't read too
It's
much into
funny to
that.
me too.
Okay, look, we all have our concerns with Carson. Okay, I mean, I'm still concerned about that back injury because back injuries linger. Those don't just go away. And I know we had this discussion already. If he gets another season-ending injury, I mean, I know you're done with him. I know you are.
You have to be.
Yeah, but I'm not just going to cut him. I'm not. Like, you just want to outright cut him.
Nah,
Well,
I'm not doing that to a franchise quarterback. And by the way, we have.
He's not a franchise quarterback if he gets serious injuries 3 years in a row.
How much are we paying him? I believe he's a franchise quarterback now.
Well, in their opinion, he is. But again, like I said, is the how much money is he guaranteed? Did he guarantee like $107 million?
A stupid amount.
So
Yeah.
he better not get hurt. He better not get hurt.
No, yeah.
Who do we have to back him up?
Gosh.
I forget his name. We drafted him.
Gosh.
Clayton Thorson.
Wilson.
That's it.
Yeah.
Clayton Thorson. Man,
And
yeah.
then there's another guy.
I'm
got
very,
money back there still.
I am very concerned about this upcoming season. I feel like it could go either way because I feel like this might be the best Eagles team that there has been for a while.
We're deep this year, man. We're really deep.
The thing that
Very
scares me is that we're hyped up already.
Yeah.
Super Bowl. When the Super Bowl season came around, we were like, "Nah, we're not winning." We were pretty much just rebuilding that season. Honestly, we were coming back on a rebuild.
Vinny Curry.
and
Vinny
weren't
Curry is a big piece. He's
yeah.
coming back.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to really do that much that season. We won the Super Bowl.
No,
And it
we
was
were
I mean, that
surprising
was.
up.
I mean, as far as the first half of that season, that was almost all Carson Wentz. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, he was
I'll
on
tell you-
another level.
I'll tell you guys the one thing that I've heard that's going around, and that Carson Wentz is actually down in Houston right now, bonding with his receivers. And if you ever notice, like the great quarterbacks in the NFL, they always bond with their receivers sometime before training camp starts. The fact that he's doing that and Lane Johnson saying those comments, I'm a whole lot more confident in Carson Wentz. Because usually around this time, I'm hearing him, or I'm seeing him on Instagram posting up a killing that he just did out in the woods,
He likes to hunt.
or he's posing with his dogs,
Yep.
something like that. I'm not seeing none of that this offseason. I'm hearing him working with his receivers. Okay, that's maturity. I can respect that. I like that. He's growing, not just physically, but mentally wise,
Right.
but mental wise.
He knows he has something to prove.
Yes, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
does have something to prove. Because guess what? You technically didn't bring us the Super Bowl. You helped
He brought
get
us there.
Who
He
did?
brought us
To the
there,
playoffs.
but he didn't cross the finish line.
Who did?
We're not going to bring his name up. All right, leave it alone. A certain
Also-
quarterback that plays for Jacksonville Jaguars now.
I want to bring up a player that's kind of no one's really talking about, and that's Zach Brown, linebacker. He was rated by Pro Football Focus as the NFL's most underrated linebacker this season.
He is
I
really.
think the age
So,
is the big
yeah.
thing with him. That's kind of why we got him on the cheap a little bit. People don't
Yeah.
want to pay him a lot of money because of his age. He's close to 30 or 31 years
He has
old.
95 tackles against the run.
The thing
Third
about
most.
the thing about when we brought in D'Amico Ryans around
God, that seems like forever ago.
Right.
Nico Ryans.
Right,
Wow.
but D'Amico Ryans contributed big time to this defense when he came in, and he was going on 30s. He was 29, 30 years old
Right.
when he was traded here. So I don't look at age. So long as you do your job and you bring that experience to the defense, that's what I'm looking for from that linebacking position, especially as a middle linebacker, which is exactly what we needed. Now, my concern for this upcoming season, my concern is still the defensive scheme. Okay, I have went back and looked at some tape.
Okay.
Y'all know I'm a tape guy. All right? I will say this right here, right now on these airwaves. I don't particularly care for Jim Schwartz's scheme. I don't, because I feel like it puts a lot of pressure on the defensive line, which is fine. But if that defensive line doesn't get to that quarterback has all day to sit in the pocket, and our corners will be left exposed, wide open. We attack our corners all the time for not necessarily having the talent. But the problem is the quarterback is given too much time in the pocket. Why? Because one, Jim Schwartz refuses to blitz. All right? That is a problem. You kind of want to confuse the offensive line a little bit. You kind of want to confuse the quarterback a little bit. Look, okay, I'm going to set this scenario up for you guys. Let's say, for example, maybe one down, Nigel Bradham. He lines up next to Derek Barnett. Let's say one play, he comes in on a blitz, and it's a 5-man pressure. Correct. Now, back end, the corners are doing their job. Quarterback has nowhere to go. Okay, let's say the quarterback throws the ball incomplete because he's pressured. All right, every lineman had to account for somebody. The center had to look for that blitz to come. Now, let's say, for example, now that he lines up on the opposite end. Now the center has to push. Now the center has to shift. He has to tell the offensive lineman, okay, let's go to the other side. Let's shift the protection to the right. Now that left is wide open. And now maybe Zach Brown can rotate from that left side and come in on that same side. But because the center or the quarterback asked the protection to slide to the right, that left side is wide open. Now that quarterback can get sacked. It's things like that, schemes like that. You cannot just keep coming onto the field, running the same schemes, running the same zone plays, man coverage plays time and time again.
Do you think Jim Schwartz will change that?
No, because he hasn't at this point. And then on top of that, why is this turned into a rant? Now on top of that, the prevent defense on 3rd and long. Oh my gosh. If I see that this season, I kid you not, I'm going to flip a lid.
They line up all across the first down.
I am sick of that prevent defense, all right?
I am pissed off.
I am sick of teams being able to throw a screenplay and being able to pick up a 3rd and 15. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Play up. If I see that again, I'm going to flip a lid. I kid you not. That is the dumbest defense I have ever seen.
It cost us a couple games last year.
Oh, man.
I look at the Titans game last year, man. that prevent defense on 3rd, 4th down. Even Mariota shouldn't be beating us. You know, if it's Tom Brady, it's a different story.
It's an outrage.
Mariota should not be back there throwing bullets past our defense, but I agree with you, T. It's sometimes it's frustrating, but hell, sometimes it works. You know, our defense.
When has a prevent defense?
No. I'm talking about the defense. I'm talking about the defensive line getting to the quarterback. You know, we've had a stacked line.
That works. That's fine, but like switch it up. That's all I'm saying. Like switch it up. Blitz sometimes. Send a safety. Send a corner. Switch it up.
As much as this makes me want to just regurgitate, that's what makes Bill Belichick so great.
Exactly.
He never runs the same thing.
Correct.
Ever.
Each week, Bill Belichick comes in and says, okay, scrap last week's game plan. We're going in with an all-new game plan. We're going in with all new plays. All right, we're going to do this, that, the third. This is their weakness. We're going to attack it. No, here's how we approach the defense. All right, guys, it worked last week. We're going to do it again. Like the other team hasn't schemed and figured out how to stop what makes you good. Come on now. Football is a game of chess. Stop going in with the same strategy.
What teams in the NFC you think give us the biggest problems? Like, what team are you pointing to right now and you're like, all right, they stack up pretty well against us?
As far as the whole, okay.
Saints. Yeah, the whole NFC, and not just our division.
Okay. Saints, automatically. Saints.
We
lost 2 times.
It's hard to argue.
What about the Rams?
Rams, we've had their number.
It's true.
We've always been able to score on them.
I don't want to take them lightly, though.
Somehow, no, I'm not taking them lightly. We've always been able to score on the Rams, and we've also been able to.
Cowboys had our number last year.
Yeah, the Cowboys had our number last year.
That was
the Cowboys game was
the
debatable.
referees' calls, and that was.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm interested to see some Cowboys games this year, just because I want to see Dak Prescott and the money gets paid. You know, how is he going to perform, man? Is he going to get a lot of money? Is he going to perform at a high level?
I mean, I've pulled up the Eagles' schedule. Would you like me to just go through that?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. So, I mean, week 1, we got Washington Redskins.
I think if we lose week 1, I won't watch the rest of the season.
And then Atlanta Falcons, like you put T, that is always a dogfight with the Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons is always
and by
on
the
the
way,
road,
Julio
Sunday Night
Jones
Football.
is always our wide receiver, the wide receiver that always gets to us the most.
So long as Jalen Mills isn't covering him, that's the issue.
Week 3 is Detroit Lions.
Who? Where at?
All right, you can't.
Home.
You can't that sounds like a dub, but you can't necessarily disrespect Detroit.
All right, week 4 we're going to Lambeau.
That's Thursday. That's a short week. That's Thursday Night Football.
That's a loss, dog. That's
unless Rodgers gets hurt again on the first play of the game, and like week 1 last year.
And that's the only way
He'll come back out on a wheelchair and then play the rest of the game.
And then after we go to war in the winter in Lambeau, we play some hopscotch with the New York Jets.
Hey, they got Le'Veon Bell, man. They can go all the way.
I hear you.
And then week 6 we got Minnesota.
That'll be a tough
That's
game.
still a tough defense.
It's always a
False.
tough game, except for
Week 7, we finally got Dallas. We're at Dallas. Week
that's
7.
probably a Sunday night game too, the prime time.
Oh,
or
that's
something.
going to be prime time.
8:20. Yep.
I say we're probably going to split with the Cowboys.
Well, we
always do.
were hoping to beat them twice last year. We lost both.
Yeah. Week 8, we got Buffalo.
We that game at Dallas, we should have won. That was nonsense.
Yeah, there was a lot.
yeah.
There was a lot.
That
of
was a
things
lot
taken
of nonsense. Remember the kickoff and the opening of the game? Didn't we like muff it and they reviewed it or something like
They
that?
upped
yeah,
it.
yeah.
We recovered it, and they
Grugier
said
Hill.
they couldn't accurately say that we recovered the ball, but there was nothing but Eagles
Right.
around that
Yeah,
ball.
that was
Listen,
after
I
Grugier Hill.
I still have a picture of that in my
Yeah.
phone.
That was the game right there. That was the game right there. That was, I mean,
Yeah.
once that play happens,
That
you're
was-
like, man, like,
yeah.
this is how the game's going to go? We're going to lose it.
Seriously.
Hill was talking all the trash on the Cowboys, and then the first play of the game, he jumps on the ball, and then they don't give it to him.
Like, dude, come on, man.
Week 8, we got Buffalo. Yeah.
Who do they have? Cole Beasley?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They do.
Yikes. That guy's going to run all over us. Chicago Bears.
You know what? That's
another
going to be a
tough
fight.
game. Where's
That's
that
gonna
at?
be a
Is
fight.
that at home?
That is home.
All
That's
right.
still going to be a fight,
A
man.
young team, too.
Yeah.
It's a
They're
weird-
they're
yeah.
good.
Week 10, we got the bye. Week 11.
You know what? I like a Week 10 bye, though.
Week 10 bye. Oh, yeah.
I like the way, I like
Later the
that's-
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Week 11. New England's coming to town.
No, off the bye week, so we got 2 weeks to prepare for him. That's pretty
That's
good.
good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
That's good.
You're going to need 2 weeks to prepare for New England.
Oh, my God, yeah. Then
And we're home. Man, it should be.
home against New England.
It's going to be a fun game to watch.
And then week 12, we're home against Seattle, which,
Ooh, that's a loss.
man,
That's a loss.
Yo, you know one of my favorite plays? I want to make this point real quick. Russell Wilson, I just love watching that guy play. He's so fun to watch.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's great. I was just talking to T about this conversation I had with a coworker. Like, what quarterbacks in the NFL do you think can be successful with whatever you give them?
Yeah, Wilson, you just look at him, and it's,
Wilson's,
man, he's
to me, there's 4 guys, and Wilson's one of my guys.
Tom Brady.
Aaron Rodgers, and Drew Brees.
Yep.
Those are
hard to argue that.
Those are, like, in my opinion, the only guys who can win with whatever you give them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's watching games with him last year, just scrambling around and making plays. He's just fun. If you watch, if you're a casual football fan, just look at Russell Wilson. Man, you just love that guy. He's fun to watch.
All I got to say to the defense is, man, stop falling for the zone read. Stop falling for it.
Look, T,
all right?
we know you're the smartest person out there. Not everyone can be as
Coach
smart
T
as you.
has
I'm
his
not,
input.
I'm not the smartest person out there. All I'm saying is defensive end. Stay disciplined. You know he's a threat to run.
Have you-
Contain the edge.
Have you submitted your application to be the new Eagles defensive coordinator?
It's pending.
Okay. All right, week 13, we got Miami in Miami. I want to be confident about that, but I'm not.
Who does Miami have right now?
Ryan Tannehill.
They got no, they
anymore.
don't.
Not
They
anymore.
got-
Not
they got-
anymore.
They
They
got
got Josh-
Fitzmagic. They have
That's Ryan
Fitzmagic and-
Tannehill wired into my head.
Well, who's going to start? Fitzmagic,
They're
Fitzmagic,
thinking-
or Josh Rosen?
No, you know it'll be
they're
Josh
thinking-
Rosen.
They're thinking
it'll
Fitz.
be Rosen.
Fitz has been
Fitz.
impressing.
I'm thinking Fitz.
Yeah.
Fitz impresses for 4 weeks where he throws for
Yeah,
like 4,000
all right,
yards.
That's for them to figure out. I'm glad we don't have that
I
problem.
feel like it's going to be a battle between the two of them in the preseason for who gets
Yeah, of
week 1.
course. I mean, that's just
And then I just love the way the season wraps up too. We got week 14
Division rival.
Giants at home, week 15 Redskins in Washington, then week 16 Cowboys home, and then we go up to New York to wrap up the season against the Giants.
Right.
I hate playing the Redskins, man. It's so boring. Especially. Yeah, it is, man. I'm just sitting there watching the games on TV
Hey.
last year. I'm like, man, why am the Redskins? Why am I watching?
It's
this?
because Alex Smith is literally the definition of a bland quarterback.
It's just Redskins games in general.
Yeah,
You're
but-
watching the NFL Network. You're like
Yeah, but
on
now-
the red zone.
And
But
I like having the Giants games at the end. What would you say? After week 14, we have 2 Giants games.
Week 14, 2 Giants games,
Yeah.
a Redskins and a Cowboys.
Yeah, I like having that because depending on how the season goes, we can wrap up the regular season with 2 Giants games. Hopefully, will be easy for us, but you never know.
Hey,
It
you
ain't
really
gonna be
just
easy.
never
Dude,
You got a
Saquon's
pain
no
in the
joke.
yeah. I was about to
Yeah.
say you got a pain in the butt up there named Saquon Barkley, who's
Yeah,
going to be a
just
pain in the
never-
rear
I mean,
end for years to come.
And we can't tackle
Future
him,
Eagle.
so it's.
I'm
yeah.
saying it now.
I don't
Future
think
Eagle.
half our defense
After his
can't
prime,
tackle.
maybe.
Period.
After his prime.
Yo, how many games you give Eli Manning before Daniel Jones is in?
6.
I don't even give him that much. I'll give him. I'll give them 2.
I'll give them
I'll
half the season, then they realize we're not going anywhere. Then they're like, let's give this kid some.
Granted, if they're smart, they won't put Daniel Jones in.
I'll go 4 weeks.
No, he needs
I'll go 4.
development.
4 is the magic number.
Isn't the
Exactly,
reason
exactly.
they got Daniel Jones is because him and Eli have a connection and
Yeah,
it's
they-
kind of like a mentorship. So
Yeah.
with that being said, maybe Eli plays the whole season. Then next season he
And I think that's really,
retires. Maybe.
I think that needs to be the
Yeah,
ultimate goal.
you would think. He's
that
not
needs
gonna
to be the
get
ultimate
that
goal for the Giants. They don't want to play that young buck now. If you expose that young buck, in
What
the
about
NFC,
what about Dwayne Haskins? How long you give him with Washington?
I don't think he should start, but I think
He
he's going
should.
to.
He's
Case
dead.
Keenum, do you like have Case Keenum start like 4 games? And
Yes, please.
You probably should.
Now, from
if
what
you're
I'm-
the Redskins, I hope they play Dwayne.
Now, from what
Dwayne
I'm
Haskins.
hearing, they are very intrigued by Dwayne Haskins, and if he has a good camp, it is highly likely that they're going to start him. I do not suggest starting a 19, 20-year-old quarterback, but hey,
Dwayne.
I'm not in charge of an NFL franchise,
like that
so what
name?
do I know?
Dwayne.
Big name. Chris is a big name guy over there.
It's all because of CM Punk. Whenever he makes fun of The Rock, he calls him Dwayne.
That's true.
I'm sorry.
That's true.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm pumped for football season.
All right,
Honestly.
so
I am.
with all that being said, what are your guys' Super Bowl predictions? Chris, let's start with you.
Eagles, Jacksonville.
Max, how about you?
Oh man, right now I just think the Saints are really
Yeah,
good. I'll go
I
with the
agree.
Saints, and I was gonna say the Chiefs until they lost. Kareem Hunt's gone. The Tyreek Hill's gone.
See,
So
but the Chiefs did good without Kareem Hunt, so you can't necessarily just eliminate them.
it's true, but they lost Tyreek Hill. I know they still have Travis Kelce. Patty Mahomes is great. God, the AFC's so tough. Something for me just pointing to the Chargers. I feel like the Chargers this year.
Really?
So Chargers and Saints?
I think Chargers Saints. I'll go
All
with
right,
that.
For me, I think it's a Super Bowl 44 rematch of the Colts and the Saints. Listen,
Colts, that's interesting.
last time the Super Bowl was at the Hard Rock Stadium, which it's this year, right?
Yeah, I think it's Miami, right?
I think the last 2 times it was there, the Colts went to the Super Bowl, so let's make it 3 times. Colts and the Saints rematch.
You know
Super
what?
Bowl.
While you talking about Super Bowl places, I have another rant to go on. Okay, NFL.
Whoa. Who's your Super Bowl
All
prediction?
right. Well, first, my dream Super Bowl is to see the
Jacksonville.
Eagles.
No, T. It's not a dream.
we're
not-
talking realistic.
We're not in fantasy land. This isn't fantasy land.
Okay. Well, since you want to set it up like that, I see the Eagles and I also see the Chiefs.
That's bold, putting your own team in the Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if I would go there.
Now, you talked about where the game is going to be played,
Yeah.
right? Okay, I am sick and tired of these NFL Super Bowl games being played in domes. I don't care that it's February. I don't care that it's cold. That is the point of football. It is an outside sport. Man the heck up.
You just want
what are we-
40,000 people to get a cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What, are we going to go back to the olden days where there's feet of snow on the ground?
Yes.
We can't see the ball.
The good
Yes.
news, the good news
line.
is, T, they got a retractable roof down there at the Hard Rock. So I
Yes.
think
Oh,
it'll
what
be
did
all
it
right.
So
freaking
just
do?
for you, maybe they'll open it up. a
No
little bit.
turf, real grass, I promise.
Another thing you
Oh,
gotta
what did he
realize.
do?
Another thing you gotta realize. The NFL needs to get entertainment for the halftime show. And if someone's like, it's gonna be -5, and I have to perform in that for 20 minutes, not coming.
Put a coat on.
I don't think it'll be snowing in Miami.
That's all I'm saying.
That's a good point.
I'm tired of these
Yeah.
Super Bowls being hosted in these warm climates or these domes. I'm sick of it. All right? It's a contact sport. It's an outside sport. Man up. That's all I'm saying.
So if I can give my real prediction, because I was obviously being ridiculous with the Eagles Jacksonville. I think this would be really interesting. Chicago, Cleveland.
I knew you were going to say Cleveland.
Wow.
I knew it was coming.
Cleveland.
That would be insane.
Dude.
Wow.
Think about
I
it.
have a funny feeling Cleveland is just going to go off this year.
I think they're going to go. They're going to go.
Whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
I think they're going to make it in the playoffs.
Cleveland?
Yeah, I wouldn't go maybe as far as the Super Bowl yet.
I know. Baker's
Yeah.
still a young guy, but man,
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be such a fun Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun to watch, but I like Baker's a little too young right now. I think he still has some maturing to do.
He's a rock star. I don't think he's ever going to become I don't think he's going to be Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to go out there. He's going to, when Phil Collins is playing, he's going to hit his pretend drum set
So he's gonna come out. He's gonna come out like Donovan McNabb and just go air guitar.
You see, I don't think he wants to be like anyone but Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
That's good.
And that's
Exactly.
him. That's he's being
good.
himself.
As long as he just doesn't get arrested again.
All right, let's go back to basketball. I feel like there's some other things that we need to discuss, like this
right.
Russell Westbrook thing. So there's some rumors going around that he might go back to the Heat, and which is weird for me because Jimmy Butler's in the Heat right now. He's in the Heat uniform and he's on the team, and he left Philadelphia because he wanted to be the top dog somewhere else. And then so come Russell Westbrook, then there's these two guys that I personally think Jimmy Butler is more of a star than Westbrook. I think he just has that more personality than Russell Westbrook's kind of like. I mean, he wears the wacky clothes and he walks into the stadium, but Jimmy Butler is more of a star. But then I feel like that would be stupid if Miami were to get Russell Westbrook and have those two personalities clash because we already had him play with Durant, Harden, and those players left, and now Paul George left. It's something to do with Russ's personality, I think. And if
he doesn't seem like an awesome dude.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, Russell Westbrook's making so much money that like even a billionaire would recognize a dent in his pocket. That's how much money he's getting paid $47 million in his age 34 season in a couple of years from now. So you got to think the contract's another thing too. No one really wants to take that money on. And I've heard try to trade to Miami. I've heard they try to trade him to Houston or it's a possibility. I've even heard him come to Philly. They're saying Simmons for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, listen, would you guys do that? I know you and T and Chris, you guys aren't really.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
All right? I have said on these airwaves that I am a fan of Russell Westbrook, but no, that would mess up the chemistry.
Yeah.
I think I might do it if they could eat some of the contract.
No.
If they ate majority of the contract, I'd do it.
No.
Since we're on Simmons, what do you guys think about this contract extension?
Hold on, real quick. You got to remember, this is our time right now. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving next year. I mean, again, like I said, we're looking back at this before we started the show. Al Horford and Tobias Harris, but then you look at KD, you got Kyrie Irving. There's going to be free agency coming up again. This is our year right now. If you can get a superstar like Russell Westbrook in his prime, bring him in here, win a chip, man. This is the time to do it.
I'll take the chance on the young buck who can actually pass the ball, who might not have the best jump shot. I'll take the chance on him before I take
the
Russell
best
Westbrook.
jump shot. He doesn't have a jump shot.
But the selfish mentality of Russell Westbrook would depreciate the value of everybody else on this team.
I don't know, man. I don't think so. I think with Joel Embiid and Russ, I don't know.
Yeah, I could just see Joel just clocking him in the face.
Right, and those two do have beef. Let's remember that. Russell Westbrook and Joel Embiid, they do have beef with one another. That's not a good mix.
What if we got like a update of Russell Westbrook to the Sixers? Everybody's gonna be freaking out. We're gonna be like, holy crap, we just got.
For who?
I'm gonna throw my phone across the room.
Right. And then also you were bringing up how this is our time this season. And just to let everyone know that Paul George and Kawhi Leonard become free agents again in 2021.
All right. Well,
if you missed any of today's episode, we have a new website that you can catch it on. You can go to philly-experience.simplecast.com and you can catch the latest episode. We are also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, and now TuneIn.
Boots to asses.
I am pissed off.